Hey y'all, and good morning. So we are almost to the end of June, and I didn't want to miss my June garden tour because last month we were away at the end of May on vacation, and I kind of missed actually filming it in May. So I wanted to make sure that I got my June garden tour in. So I'm going to show you what's going on in the garden and then also give you a life update on what's going on inside of our house. All right, guys, so let's go. Let's start here on the front porch. And as you can see, our containers are doing really well. I'm just loving this mix with the coleus and the begonias. I think that is so pretty. Little Creeping Jenny, my daughter, she came up with that combination, and I think it looks beautiful. Now, guys, this is our Supertunia Vista Bubblegum. This is one plant. Can you believe it? I know when I planted this, people in my neighborhood probably think, oh, she's kind of cheap because she's only putting one plant in there. But this is why I do one plant, because they get so big. So this is so spectacular. I love the Supertunia Vista bubblegums. And then panning over here, this begonia that my daughter picked up. This is one by Monrovia, and it is doing really, really beautiful. And it just has a beautiful display of blossoms since she planted it. It is just doing so good. And even the spent ones, they don't look super bad. I mean, you can go in and pinch them off. They actually just kind of fall off. But it's so, so beautiful. Such a great performing annual. And then over here, one of my not so happy moments is these containers right here just have not done the best. This gardenia is kind of like wanting to lose all of its leaves. It did have some pest issue earlier on that we treated. And I don't know, it's just not doing good. So I think we are going to move some of these plants around, and we're going to bring back my big, beautiful ferns. So I can't wait to do that. And this one over here is kind of the same way. So I don't know if it's a shade issue. It can't be water because they get watered. But anyway, maybe shade. Maybe they just don't like being up here on this porch. So we're going to move these around. And that's what I always say. If you don't like it, then change it. So that's what we're going to do here. I do enjoy the smell of these gardenias, but I think they just may be happier somewhere else in our garden. So we're going to change that around, and I'll keep you updated on how that goes. So over here, our green stalk is doing really, really well. So we've been having lots of strawberries, and they are still blooming. And it's so nice to come out here and just grab a strawberry on your way out. So delicious. Now, we did have a casualty, so this is definitely my fault. I should have staked this tomato plant up, but as you can see right here, it cracked underneath the weight of the top of it. So we do have tomatoes, and we did pick the one that broke off. But you can see here, look how pretty the tomato is. So this variety here is called a Better Bush, and it's a determinate tomato. So it is doing really well. So I love how it's growing upright, and I have been kind of keeping the leaves cut from the bottom, and it's doing really well. And then also this African basil, oh my goodness. So I think I am going to take this out and put this in the ground because it is absolutely gorgeous, and it has gotten so big. It is just so beautiful. So this green stalk is doing really, really well. Super easy to take care of. You just fill it up with water right up here. And I usually fill it with water about every other day. And it's just so neat to come out here and get strawberries, and I don't have to worry about the bunnies eating them or the deer eating them, and they're just protected right here on the porch. Here's also another one of our Supertunia Vista bubblegums. It is just loving life. They have gotten 3 doses of fertilizer so far, and they are doing really, really well. And then going down the steps, you can see these are the geraniums that we grew from seed here. So I just kind of put these out in the sun, and I think I kind of shocked them a little bit. but I'm hoping that they will bounce back. If not, I will put them up underneath the covering of the porch. And then we also have had a little bit of aphid activity going on here with this plant. So I have been treating it, and it looks like I need to go ahead and spray it again for the aphids. And this one over here is the geranium that we wintered over, and it is doing fabulous. I need to come in here and deadhead it, but look how big. Guys, this was just like a stalk over the winter, and it is like tripled in size. It is so gorgeous, and when it was in full bloom, was just absolutely beautiful. All right, so let's take a look through here. So we did add a couple more lines to our deer fence here. So that is helping so much because as you can see, the hydrangeas on this side are starting to bounce back. And the Supertunia Vista snowdrifts are doing so well. And this one over here was our transplant from the spring. And it's actually got a couple of blooms on it. So they are doing great. The Supertunia Vista bubblegums are not as strong over here on this side because we do have this canopy of trees here, but they are still looking beautiful. And then our baby blue spruce has put on a lot of new growth. So I'm super excited about that because this is a test to see if that we can grow this baby blue spruce here in the south. So far it's doing good. And then our lavender miniature roses, they have been blooming their heads off. And as you can see, we just had a big flush of blooms. So I need to go in here and deadhead them. But you can see they come up in then just these big clusters. And they are so beautiful. The other night, we actually had a bluebird was taking a bath in the bird bath. So that was super neat. I wanted to get a video, but I was afraid if I came up that she would hop right out. So also over here, the serendipity alliums are doing great. So this is their first time blooming. So I was so excited to get these blooms. And look how pretty they are. They are so pretty. Sometimes they say the first year you plant them, you don't get blooms. So our blooms are kind of small, but they're still so pretty and they're deer resistant. So that makes me super, super happy. So everything is doing good over here. We did have 2 days of rain, which we are so thankful for. But as you can see, it's kind of made the boxwoods kind of get a little droopy. So I need to go in there and kind of trim them up a little bit. But we talked about that before, how if I had to do it over again, I would not plant them in the area where my gutter is because they do get a little overflow from the gutter when we have like really, really hard rains. So let's go over to the left side of our house and look at the flower bed over there. Look what a difference it makes when the deer don't eat your hydrangeas. So these are the Blushing Bride hydrangeas, the same that we have on the right side. But I was smarter and I put up more lines of fishing line on this side, and I wasn't so smart on the right side. So they are doing so beautiful. They have this blushy pink color, just like a blushing bride on her wedding day. So beautiful. And also you can tell we get lots more sun over here. And so the Supertunia Vista snowdrifts are just loving it. They are doing so, so good. Then we have our Supertunia Vista bubblegums, and they are coming in beautiful. I do need to get them some more fertilizer because they've only been fertilized twice. And then the star of the show is the Limelight Hydrangeas. Oh my guys, they are so beautiful. So last year we had the line of Incredibles here, and they just suffered so bad in this area because it gets full sun. This is the south side of our house. Full sun, lots of heat, lots of humidity. And I really hated to pull them, but I'm so glad I did. We did it in the winter when they were dormant, and then we planted these Limelight hydrangeas very soon after. So these have only been in the ground a couple of months, and they are doing absolutely beautiful. I just cannot believe how big they are. So these should get even taller and taller with each year, which will be super nice because we have this area right here that'll be nice to kind of fill in. And then the second star of the show, if you can say that, is the Starry, Starry Night Hibiscus. Look at this, guys. So this is what you do with the problem wet area, is you put in hibiscus, and they are just doing so good, living their best life over here. I just can't believe it. So this area right here, I had some gardenias planted, and they were just getting too wet, and they just died. We had one lived and two died. So we took those up. We bought these Starry, Starry Night hibiscus, and they are doing so good. Can you believe that? They don't even look real. They're so beautiful, and they are covered in more blooms here. So they have just been blooming their heads off, and it's just so neat to see them. They look like a little marshmallow, and then they slowly open up, and then overnight it'll look like this. But contrasted against these dark purple leaves, and then the Limelight Hydrangeas is just absolutely gorgeous, and they're just loving all this extra water that they get here from our gutter and then from our irrigation system. So they are doing so beautiful. I just love them. And then our last thing here is our Cat's Pajamas Nepeta. And as you can see, I've already cut it back so it can get a second flush of blooms. But it was the first bloomer here in the garden, and it has done so good. The pollinators love it. The deer don't like it, and it's just a great performer here in the front south part of our house. And before we leave the front, let me just show you. I think this is the biggest blossom I have ever seen. Look how big this is, guys. Oh my goodness. It is so beautiful. I think it's loving this extra water from the gutter here too. So, so pretty. I'm so glad that the Incrediballs did bad so we could put these up here. And so let's go to the back and I'll show you how the Incrediballs look now. Okay guys, so this is our shade garden on the back of our house. And as you can see, it gets a little sun here in the morning and it'll get a little sun here in the afternoon. But everything is doing really good. I did go ahead and cut back the bleeding hearts. So hopefully that won't affect the lungwort too much because I know it's really sensitive to light. But the heucheras are absolutely beautiful. I did a little flower arrangement last night, and I took some of the little heuchera blossoms and cut those off to put those in my flower arrangement. And they just added this nice little whimsical touch to it. The hostas are doing great. Impatiens. We even got some chrysanthemum here. And look at this rogue squash. So I was weeding the flower bed a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I think that's a squash plant, and it is. So I don't think we're going to have any squash because something keeps on eating the blossoms off, but it's just so neat to see this squash plant growing here inside of my garden. So I don't know where it came from, but it's growing. And then the impatiens down here are looking very pretty. I just love hostas, and I'm so glad we've got this area here that's fenced in so that we can enjoy them and keep the deer from eating them. So pretty. And they just love this shady, moist area back here. Okay, so this area has been super neglected because we've actually been living out of our house, living in boxes while they are working on our hardwood floors. So I've been coming over and checking on everything, but I have not been very diligent on getting that weeded. But this was our foxglove that we planted from seed last year, and you can see how tall it has gotten, and it is all going back to seed. I need to go ahead and cut some of that off. My dad wanted some seeds for his garden, but it was absolutely beautiful, and I'll throw a picture up here on the screen to show you what it looked like because it was so pretty. So maybe I can get back at it and get this area cleaned up. But that's real life gardening, guys. And then as we go over here to the cottage garden, it is such a beautiful transformation. Do y'all remember what this looked like just a couple of months ago? It was just grass and dirt and mud, and it is so, so beautiful. These are the little zinnias that we grew in the winter sowing method. These are the ones that I got from Florette, and they are doing so good. I cut a little bouquet last night after it rained, and I've got those inside the house. And then our next show, look at this girl here. This is the Senorita Rosalita Cleome. I had this in one of my first gardens when we first got married, and I had the old-timey version. It was pink, it had thorns, and it spread everywhere. But this one is the best of Cleome. So no thorns, it's sterile, and it is just absolutely beautiful here in the cottage garden. And I wish I had a couple of more to go down the line. So maybe next year I can find some. I got these at Dwayne's Garden Center, and I was so happy to find them. And then as we go through here, the tall Guy Arborvitaes are putting on some new growth, so that is very exciting to see. Here's a little marigold that we grew from seed. And look at these Incredibles, guys. They are so much happier back here. Little less heat, little more moisture in the soil, and they are just living their best life. So sometimes you have to take that little chance, take them up and move them, and I'm so glad that we did. It was some work, but it's such a good payoff now. This is the Angel Wing Synocio, and it is doing really good. And then a heuchera back here. And then as you can see, we just have like around the fence line some snapdragons and zinnias. And I'm trying to get a lot of ground cover in. This is an ornamental oregano. And this is some lamium here. And I'm hoping as these other plants get bigger, the lamium will have a little bit more shade because it has gotten a little burnt back there. Here's another one of the Senorita Rosalitas doing exceptionally well. And as you can see, we continue the ground cover through here. The Walker's Low Catmint is doing good. I have not cut this one back yet, so it is probably getting pretty close to needing to be cut back, so we will get that done pretty soon. And then one of the neatest plants that I've ever planted, my mom said it looked like little cigars. She said there used to be a plant called a cigar plant, and maybe this was a cigar plant, but this is a vermillionaire, and it's supposed to attract hummingbirds. So I don't have any hummingbirds yet, but I have a flower if they come into my garden. And this neat texture of this lamb's ear is just absolutely beautiful. And look at the water on it from last night, from all the rain that we have. So pretty. And I love it with the backdrop of the Walker's Low Catmint and some Rebecca and then the Incredibles. They are doing so, so good. And then we've added on a little area here where we're going to be continuing our cottage garden through here. So I went ahead and put down the cardboard and laid down some compost or some dirt. Well, this is really just a dirt mix and our topsoil mix. And then we were going to come back and add the wood chips on top of that. Always working, always growing the garden. This is a eucalyptus. And it is very, very beautiful and smells really good. Backed by another ornamental oregano. And one of the things that has not done very good in the garden is this little lupine. So it had gotten attacked by crickets when I first put it in. And then it started to lose all of its leaves again. So I'm not sure. This may just not be a good plant for our garden. But one of the things that's a good plant is look at this Incredible. Look at the bees. They are just living their best little life up here. We have not had very many butterflies this year though, guys. So I want to work on that for next year so we can get some more butterflies in our garden and give them some things that they like and enjoy. Then the next showstopper is this drift rose. This is an apricot drift, and it is so pretty. and it has just been blooming, blooming, blooming since we planted it. It's doing so, so good. And then this is a little Rebecca from last year from our little fall planting, and it's doing great. And then I think this is the biggest Walker's low catmint in the garden, and it is just loving it over here at the end. We had lots of blackberries this year, and they're all finished up. And we have this beautiful iris that we planted this year, so I can't wait to see it bloom next year. But definitely the lamb's ear are doing great in our garden. And I can't wait until these tall arborvitaes get even taller. So they're so pretty. All right, let's walk over here and I will show you our roses. So they are not in bloom right now, but this is the Lady of Shallot, and it has just bloomed its head off this year. So I'll put a picture up on the screen. Gorgeous, gorgeous rose. It's kind of a peach apricot. Now this is the Claire Austin. It has had a couple of little blooms on it, but not very many this year. So we're thinking that it may be just setting roots because this is a climber. So I have it on this obelisk here. And so hopefully we will get more growth out of that next year. And this is the Alnwick rose. So this rose has only had one bloom as well. But as you can see, it does have some little buds forming. So hopefully we will get some more blossoms out of that. But these were just planted, so if we don't get a lot, that's okay as well. Platinum blonde lavender, absolutely gorgeous. I wish I just had like a whole row of this, but I found this one time and I have not been able to find it again. And then we've got our little trio of our lamb's ear, a little bite in there, and a little phlox. And the phlox smell so beautiful. They've had a beautiful flush of blooms. The rain kind of got them a little bit last night, but they are so pretty. And then our autumn joy sedum is just starting to put on a little color. Look at that. Starting to get a little bit pink. And then also our lavender is doing so good. I know a lot of people around here have a hard time growing lavender because they have really clay soil, but we have really sandy soil. And so our lavender is just doing so good. This is one that I grew from propagation. So I took a little cutting and I grew this one. So this is about 2 years old here. And this was from last year. We grew this one from seed, and it's already had some little bloom stalks on it, but I went ahead and cut them off because I wanted it to concentrate its growth on actually the roots and the leaves here. So it's doing really, really well. And also, of course, in the south, lantana loves its life here in our garden, nice and hot. And this yellow is just so striking. I just love it. Now, last year, this hydrangea did not look like any of the other ones that I planted. And this year, it is looking like the other ones that I planted. I'm going to have to put the name up on the screen because I always forget the name of it. But it's a panicle hydrangea, and it is doing beautiful. It's got nice, strong stems, and it just does really good here in our hot weather. And then as we go along here, we've got a beautiful hosta that's doing good here in our full sun, as well as our autumn joy sedum. This one's a little bit more leggier looking. And then we got this beautiful heuchera, and then I've got some creeping Jenny. And then going over here, trying not to get my shadow in there. This is a Lacecap Hydrangea. So we are thinking for next year, we're going to move this more in the shade because this has kind of suffered with the sun. So you can see on the leaves, it's just having a little bit harder time. Oop, my shadow is really bad right now. But I think we'll let it go dormant. We'll put it in the shade, and I think it'll do a lot better there. So, so pretty. All right, so going through the cottage garden here, our little Patio Peach, we've had a little problem with some Japanese beetles because I forgot to treat this one with the Fertilum tree and shrub drench. So as we've been finding the Japanese beetles, we've just been getting rid of them. And that was one that just fell on the ground there, so that's what they look like, guys, right there. We got some new chairs here from Amazon. So I can link these in the description. They were super easy to put together, and they are a resin type material. We have one more to put together, but it was so hot the other day, we just didn't have the energy to put it together. And then here is our row of hydrangeas. Look how pretty. They'll get pink. And then here is our pink muley grass, and it'll get pink. And then our Walker's low catmint. And as you can see, this one here is having a little problem with chlorosis. So we'll need to treat this. This one looks okay, and this one here has some chlorosis. So we need to get those treated. And these are our amazing daisies. Banana cream 2. Look how pretty. They are pretty and doing so well. And our seed on this one's actually getting a little bit more rosy pink on it. That one's really pretty. And then as we go up through here, these hydrangeas have just grown so much this year. My daughter helped to trim them back for me, and they are doing so well. So, so pretty. This here was a casualty. So I'm going to redo this little bed here. These are the marigolds that I grew from seed, and they just looked terrible. So I just cut them off the other night, and I'm going to go buy some more plants. So good excuse to go plant shopping. And then here's another one of our the panicle hydrangeas. And then this is very exciting. We grew from the winter sowing method some dahlias, and they are doing so good. Do have a little bug damage, so I need to treat those. But they are going to be so beautiful. I've never grown dahlias or even grown dahlias from seed, and so I am excited to see what they do this year. And then we just kind of have a repeat of the pink muley grass, the Walker's low catmint, the sedum, and the amazing daisies banana cream 2. This one's really pretty too. Look how pretty that is. And this is by Proven Winners. And here is the last hydrangea. This one I picked up with Kim, with Backyard Blooms by Kim. So I'll have to put the name of this one on the screen as well, because I can't remember the name, but it looks like a panicle, but it also looks like a lace cap. Very, very pretty. Okay, guys, so let me show you my figs. I'm so excited. I get excited about figs. My gardening friends make fun of me because I love figs so much. So these are the 2 figs that I propagated from my dad's fig tree in Georgia. So I will link the description. I'll link the video in the description of where we did that. And then here is a blueberry plant doing really, really well. We had lots of blueberries from that one this year. And then here is another fig tree. This came from Phil's Figs with, this is the Cavalier. And so he is local to me, and he grows figs. And then here is an Olympian fig. This one just came from Lowe's. And here is a brown turkey fig. And it also either came from Lowe's or Home Depot. And then this is my little blueberry lemonade blueberry, but it's not doing very well. So it looks like it's got some kind of blight on it. I'm not sure about that one. And then this blueberry has never done very well. I don't know what's wrong with it, because I give it brand new soil every year, acidic soil. And then this one over here is our best performance one. This one had lots and lots of blueberries off of it this year. And you can see it actually still has a couple little blueberries trying to chug along there. And this is our fall gold raspberry that we planted up. Getting a little tip burn here, probably because we just had all of these trees removed. So I'm going to show you, we'll go back there in just a minute and show you that. But so I think they just got to get reacclimated to the sun here. And then we also have some little strawberries underneath. So you can see there's a little strawberry underneath there. So those are doing really well. And this is the little struggling rose. Never looks like much of anything. So I think we are going to rehome this one and put something else in here that'll be a better performer. Okay, so this is my daughter's little flower bed that we did together. So we did have some casualties because I think we separated those daisies a little bit too much and the lamb's ear a little bit too much, and it was too hot. So you can see this little lamb's ear is kind of struggling right here, but she's got some of this creeping vinca. It's doing really well. And this is the gypsophilia. It's doing really good. And this is called the Archangel Blue Bicolored Angelonia. And it's doing really, really well. So it's doing great. And then over here, this is the little wildflower mix that she planted. And I think this is just adorable. I told her, I said, maybe we should have just did this all the way around the little bunny barn because they're doing so good. It's so, so cute. And it just kind of has that little whimsical barnyard feel to go with her little bunny barn here. So that is her little flower bed here in the back. So during all of our hardwood floor construction, we actually had a water line that a root busted in the front of our property. So I'll go back and show you that in a minute. So we decided to have some tree work done, and while we were here, we decided to have this area cleaned out. So I don't know if you can remember, but there was a cedar tree here that was very scruffy, and the back side of it didn't grow because at one time this was just all woods behind here. So we had that removed. We had all of the little brush removed through here with lots of vines and stuff like that. And then it was like a big mound of dirt. And so they kind of spread that one down. Probably needs to have a little bit more spreading here because we do have like a little low area there. And this area around the tree kind of comes up. So we had a lot of work done here on the property. So let me show you around the back what it looks like. So in this area here, the last people had had a little garden and they had a lot of landscape fabric down. So we had the landscape fabric just pulled up and put right there so we can dispose of that. And then these woods all the way to the back, we had all of this cleared, but it looked like that before where it's just lots of vines and old brush. And so we had all that cleaned out. So we are going to get in here and kind of clean all this and get it nice and neat and tidy. And hopefully we can plant some beautiful plants around here through the woods. This is our little orchard here. And guys, those two peaches that I showed you on the last tour, they are still hanging on. I don't know if they're going to do anything because it looks like they've got spots on them and there's ants going into them. But we've got two little peaches here that have survived the deer, which is a miracle. And this one here is the one that the deer keep like trying to tear up. So I think we need to get a fence around this garden or this little orchard. But you can see here where they kind of ripped this one in two. But the apple trees seem to be doing pretty good. So this apple tree here is, let's see, a Golden Delicious. And I think that one there is a Macintosh. But they seem to be doing really, really well. And then our grapes are doing good. So these are muscadines that my dad gave us from Georgia. So this one does have some chlorosis that needs to be treated. But you can see it likes the sun a lot better than being over here in the where it's more shaded. And there's another one here. So we have three muscadines. And then over here we have a little grape. And it's got grapes on it. Look at there, guys. Look at the little grapes. Isn't that cute? So cute. So let me go over here and show you our chickens. So here is some of the wood from our cleanup that we had to have done. So we're going to split this down and we can use it in our fire pit. And then here's our little chickens. Say hello, guys. Yes, good morning. They're very, very sweet. They haven't started to lay eggs yet. But we do have one over there and she's sitting down and resting. And we have at least one rooster that we know of, that one, and we may have another rooster. But they are doing really good. The girls let them out at night, so whenever somebody comes up, they think that they're going to be let out. But y'all can't be let out yet. Y'all got to stay in here till the girls get home. Okay, and then as we continue around, you can see all the chips that they left for us. But that's really nice. We can use them in the chicken coop, or we can use them out in the woods or anywhere we want to use them. But you can see all the vines are starting to die that were up in the trees. So we still have lots of more cleanup to do, but it's like they kind of got us started so we could actually get into the woods, because all of this was just really thick with vines and you couldn't even see in here. So I'm excited to get back here, start cleaning things up, and then Mr. Squirrel's happy. And I think it would be so neat to have some walkways through here. It'll just be so beautiful. And the temperature back here is like 10 degrees cooler than what it is in the yard. But you can see some of these vines were huge and they were just choking out the trees. And we have some beautiful trees back here. So over here is actually a holly. We actually have lots of hollies here on our property, just wild holly trees, which I've never lived in a place with wild hollies. But you can see the vines are starting to die. So now that the vines will die away, this holly will have more room to grow. And then these big, beautiful trees over here were completely covered. And I think this is so beautiful now that we can kind of walk through here. We can see the trees. And you just feel like you're, I don't know, like in a different part of your yard when you're back here. We have all the bright, beautiful flowers up there. But then this just becomes like my friend Lynn's garden, like a woodland habitat. So pretty. I love being able to get back here. It just makes our property so much bigger because now we're actually to our property line. So we can enjoy it, do some gardens and do some planting. Look how beautiful these trees are. I'm so glad we have some hardwood trees because there's so many pine trees around here. So these are beautiful. And now these vines will all die so the tree can grow and get more light. Okay, let me take you up front and show you where we had the double tree cut down that was grown into our water lines. Look how beautiful the cottage garden looks from this angle. So like I've said, we were getting our hardwood floors redone because we had a water leak in our refrigerator from the ice maker. So we have been out of our house, living out of suitcases, but still coming back and checking on everything because there have been some questions that guys needed us for. And then in the meantime, we ended up having this water leak over here at the end of the street. They were coming to check on the water meter, and the guy said, "Hey, do you know you have water coming out of here?" I was like, "Nope." So this is one of these stumps that we had removed. And if y'all didn't get to watch that video, it was really, really good. I love watching heavy equipment, so it was neat to watch them do all this heavy equipment work. Okay, so back to the water story. So water was coming out into the street from the water line, and we had this happen last year. I think it was in the fall. But what was happening is there was a big tree right here. It was two trees, two pine trees, and they had these huge roots. Y'all remember when I put in these plants here, the roots that we were having to deal with. And those roots have pushed and pushed into the water line and cracked the water line because it's just like parts of it's PVC. So luckily our neighbor is a plumber and he was able to come over and fix it. But this is the area, and I'll pop a picture in here. This is the area right here where the tree roots were growing into this box. But you can see the tree roots. Look at that, how massive. So we're still waiting on 811 Dig to come out and mark all the lines here, but then they'll come back and they'll grind up this stump here. So now we have all of this area that we can work with, and we can do some gentle planting of roots that won't grow into this water line, because we definitely do not want to have that again. So our little plants here that we planted, the mugo pines are actually doing really well. The lemon cypress is not doing very well, and these little junipers not doing really well. But we don't have any water out here, so I've been having to hand water, and I just don't think I've been consistent enough with the hand watering. So we'll see if they bounce back. They still have a lot of green growth, so we'll just give them some time, and if they don't, we'll pull them And if they do, we'll keep them. Okay, guys, so that was our June garden tour, and I'm so glad that we got it done. So even with all the things that are going on in our house right now, I was glad that we got to squeeze it in. And as soon as they get finished with our floors, I will take you on a tour and show you how everything looks, because it is going to be absolutely gorgeous, and I'm going to be so glad when it's done. So I hope you enjoyed this June garden tour of our simple southern garden, and I hope you have a chance to get in your garden today. Bye, friends.